To sustain, to nourish, to thrive. These are essential tenets of the human condition. And I'm here today at the offices of Mahindra Susten to understand what it takes to nourish a business, to sustain it, to make it thrive in the face of so many challenges. So come with me today in our episode of C-Suite Conversations as I catch up with Deepak Thakur, who's the MD and CEO. Let's dive into conversation. Marksman Daily presents C-Suite Conversations. Hello and welcome to this episode of C-Suite Conversations. With me is my guest in today's episode, Mr. Deepak Thakur, who is the MD and CEO of Mahindra Susten. Mr. Thakur, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today on this rainy, balmy Monday morning.
Thank you so very much, Karan, for having me here and look forward to this conversation.
So, Mr. Thakur, we were speaking off camera a little bit about the importance to you and generally about authenticity when you bring yourself to the workplace. Talk to me a little bit about that, about what it means to you.
I guess more than it meaning to me, I believe it's something that I consciously believe it's a part of me. I remember my first review with my first boss, PRV Pillai in L&T, a young MBA being 3 months into my role. And I remember Mr. Pillai telling me, Deepak, you know what, you need to put on your work mask. You need to have a facade on.
Okay.
Every time you interact with anyone, myself or my team members or anyone in the group, they can see what you feel, what you it's very visible. And I looked at Mr. Pillai and I said, Mr. Pillai, but that's me. He said, Deepak, you'll not make it further ahead in life if you kind of show your true emotions. And somehow in my head I said, no, I think that's not the way I am. I stuck with it 33 years down the road, and I thank myself for having stuck with my heartfelt original self, and that's me. So authenticity, as I said to you, is something which comes very naturally to me. And I guess two things happen because of it. One is obviously anyone that you're relating to, work, friends, family, anyone. I think the connect which you can make is genuine. And I think that's something which is unmatchable. And the second is, I feel good within because I am not double guessing myself. I am not kind of thinking, oh, what did I do? What should I do? It just comes naturally. So for me, it's authenticity has actually worked professionally and personally. And I guess all of us should practice it. It makes life much more, as I say, it keeps your backpack light. You don't need to have any rocks in it.
So, Mr. Thakur, over the 3 decades or so that you mentioned of your career, you've had diverse experiences across industries. What are some of the defining moments that have shaped your own leadership philosophy?
I guess I would say 2 moments in my life. One, I think, is my journey into renewables. And I think it's something personal which I'm stating here, which is my elder daughter, this was 2008. She was about 9 years old. Weekends I was sitting and seeing the National Geographic or I was seeing the Discovery Channel, and I remember my child asking me, because we were seeing the ice,
the polar caps melting.
The polar caps melting and the pieces of ice falling into the ocean. And she asked me, Papa, what's this? And I tried explaining to the 9-year-old what it meant, and she asked me, what can we do? Can it be stopped and what we can do? So I was telling my child that, you know what, save water, save electricity, don't waste, things like that. Don't throw plastic and waste and stuff like that. And she imbibed that. And then she looked at me and she said, Papa, you're a boss. What can you do more? And that question just snubbed me. Was I doing enough? Maybe I wasn't. I surely wasn't. And I think 6 months after that, I was with Thermax earlier, and 6 months later, I got a call from Uni, and he said, let's have a beer. And he said, we are starting a solar business and we want you to come back. I think it was something which just fell in place. I could remember that conversation on the Sunday afternoon with my child and this call or discussion with Uni, and I just took it up. It meant me coming back to Thermax with a salary cut, but I did it. And that's how my journey in 2009, May, into renewables happened. And I've been in this journey since the last 16 years now. So I think that afternoon seeing television with my child did kind of help me make a decision to move into renewables. So for me, that's one of the most important moments for me. And the second moment, I think, for me was my conversation with, again, the same gentleman, Mr. Unnii Krishnan. I had been earlier in marketing, in sales, I had done strategy.
Right.
And this was 2006, I would say 2005, December. And he said, Deepak, enough of strategy and corporate planning. You need to get into the thick of things. And let's get you into that. And he actually brought me into leading the channel business of Thermax. And that's where I think I moved into the cost or the P&L, side of things. And then since 2005 onwards, I think I've been in terms of conceiving businesses, building teams, running P&Ls, and managing stakeholders, shareholders, boards, investors. So I think that's the journey we started. So had Unnii not pushed me in that conversation to say, enough of what you're doing and now let's move into the thick of things, I would not have perhaps seen this side of the corporate world. So yeah.
So you touched upon the importance of strategy, Mr. Thakur, but even beyond that, when it comes to instilling the kind of values, the kind of mindsets, the kind of leadership practices needed to really foster innovation and resilience, how do you set about doing that at Mahindra Susten?
Okay, so I guess first of all for me, business, and I've always tried to live this by this conviction that successful businesses, great businesses aren't about the best strategy, they aren't about the best products, they aren't about the best access to resources. It's always people.
Yeah.
Okay, that's been my very strong belief. And when you start working with that strength of conviction, then you start investing a lot more on the people side of things. And for me, I think the principle I apply is very simple. Do unto others what you want others to do unto yourself. If I was in that situation, how would I like to be treated? I think it's a simple philosophy which I apply. And these two, I would say, cornerstones for me, then, kind of make me very naturally move towards investing in people. So if you look at the Sustain part of it, when I walked into Sustain on 1st April 2022, it was a very strong business, very strong legacy, but was going through a major shift. There was a change in the leadership, there was a change in the business direction, and there was a need to rejuvenate the business to move into to its really true potential, I would say. The market opportunities were humongous, so obviously things were working for us. However, there was a legacy, positive, and there was some elements which were not as positive. So when I walked in, obviously there was a very strong team, the second line, I would say even the top 30, the top 40, very strong, potent team members, high on competency, experience, right attitude. I needed to come on board and actually invest with each one of them to understand what makes them tick, what are their apprehensions, what are their concerns. So obviously I think that's where I spent my time, to understand each individual, the top 8, the top 10, the top 20, and get my own assessment of where they each stood, what they needed for them to really unleash their potential. It also needed me to keep myself away from all this noise that was happening in the background, because there were opinions, there were a lot of undercurrents which did exist. So how did I kind of keep myself focused on what I heard and what I felt, rather than getting affected by what's happening in my ecosystem? And that one-to-one connect, I think in a way established two things for me, or even for them, is where belief and trust started to build. And once you see belief and trust starting to build on both the sides, you start sharing and you start opening out things were otherwise which were not, possibly available in terms of information to me or to them. And that's where the effort started of creating a 5-year plan together. The journey started and then delivering on the 5-year plan. So I think that conviction for me, which I think we jointly were able to create because of the strength of the bond that existed between the top 10, the top 20, I think was for me a big change for Sustain 2.0. That being said, it's not always about just those one-to-one conversations. It's also, I believe, it's always about whether you walk the talk.
Yeah.
Okay, people are watching, people are noticing. Are you being genuine only when you think you need to be genuine, or are you putting up a facade on in other situations? And you're out there. And fortunately for me, as I said, authenticity is very crucial for me. So I put myself out there. So if I have vulnerability, if I make a mistake, if I have made a wrong decision, or if I'm doing something which I don't think was right and someone pointed it out to me, absolutely out there, I can make a statement and say, thank you. I didn't know this. I made a mistake. I guess all that adds up. And I think I'm a leader who clearly says I don't know it all. There are people in the room who know it better than me. And it's my job to make sure that I get them to speak.
It's just important to not be the smartest person in the room at all times.
I absolutely don't believe I'm the smartest person. I'm a daughter. I have two daughters. One is 19, one is 26, and they keep reminding me how I am not.
Actually, they're at that age right now.
So I think I'm smart enough now to know that I'm not smart. But I think that's right. I think coming back, I think it's people, and each one of us has this yearning to be noticed, to be appreciated, to be heard, and to be mentored and to be kind of supported. So I think if we are able to do that meaningfully, you create firepower together.
Mr. Thakur, looking externally as well, when you're talking about the kind of partnerships or the investment decisions that have to be taken, how do you then look at it as not just a purely business decision, and try to look at it from a more long-term lens to try to create long-term impact? The way you're talking about creating this more than business approach internally, how do you do that externally as well with your partners or your decisions that you take for investments?
So I think again over here, and I think that works well for me, is the fact that I think I do have patience. So sometimes when you're looking at an end goal, while I am saying that, it's taken me time. That is one trait in me which I had to kind of work on, is to kind of not want to jump ahead of the curve.
Right.
Is where if you're looking towards a goal, it needs to be a step at a time. And this again has been imbibed with me because I've seen my colleagues, my team members, my seniors do this so effectively. And at the foundation of this again is the fact that is there credibility, is there trust, is there belief in that relationship. So when I walk to anyone on my board, or if I have to walk to any of my shareholders, I have to kind of go out and seek any kind of decision from my investors. I think first of all, I need to kind of establish my credibility. It's always about credibility, right? So I think that build of credibility again is a process. It can't happen. And to give you a simple instance, and I think that's which helped me, is the fact that, and this is something which I want to share, is that after 3 years of sustained not bidding, I think it was January 2023 that we put on the first bid.
Okay.
It's a reverse auction. We bid for government contracts, power purchase agreement, 25-year contract. So you bid for a tariff.
Yeah.
And the board or the IC, the investment committee, gives you a floor. And we had kind of presented our case and we had got a floor. We were in the reverse auction process. And this is after 3 years. And we bid out to our final floor price, and the few people in the room that we were together, 3-4 of us, we knew that if we went a paise down, we could win. A paise down.
Just 1 paisa?
1 paise down. Okay. So the call taken in the room was no. I took the call in the room saying that the IC has given an approval for X. We will not go a paise below. And the messaging in the room was, we will negotiate it, we'll do something, we can get the cost down here, we can do this, we can do that. I mean, let's go win now, and we will make sure that we give the confidence to the board and the IC that we can achieve this, or we can even do better. And perhaps that was true. However, I think the principle for me in my head was that no, this is what we took a position or we got this, and we will stick by that. We lost. I remember walking out into our hall out of the reverse auction room, and there were 150, 160 people waiting to hear positive news, but there wasn't. We did a town hall, and we did share with them that we lost. And of course, there was a hush in the room and shoulders dropped. And I said only one thing, that we will learn from this and we will make sure that the next one we win. And we did win the next one in April 23. That being said, that established credibility. When we shared this news, when I picked up the phone and spoke to the IC, obviously I was crestfallen and I fell down as a leader of the team. All of them said, no, what he did was absolutely right. You stuck to whatever was approved by the IC. I know it was difficult, each one of them said, but they stuck to the principle and he stuck. And that's somewhere, I believe, that loss became our win. Because suddenly the credibility of the team, of myself as a leader, got reinforced. So I would say that this is how, when you have to go and take decisions, when people go back to these things, that in a situation where it was a choice to be made, the leader took a decision on to be more conservative than to be more aggressive. And I think that's how, and which was a more difficult decision to take.
Yes, no doubt.
That's how credibility gets built. And then over that, you do whatever. You keep making sure, bad news first. Anish clearly in his first conversation told me, and I think that completely resonates with me. We like to share good news, but you know what? If something's going wrong, please let me know first so that I can help you. I can contribute some thoughts to kind of... So I think clearly that's how, when you have to take big decisions, ask for big investments, it's brick by brick. How have you gone? And then when you really go out and seek that big bucks, that seems to be a small decision as compared to these ones, because these have already created a path for you, which simply goes and makes that very much plausible. So I think that's, for me, big decisions based on credibility, but can be done.
Since we are delving into the contours of Mahindra Susten 2.0, Mr. Thakur, which is your brainchild, talk to us a bit about that and how you've positioned the company to be at the forefront of India's transition towards clean energy.
Absolutely. So, Sustain 2.0, as we crafted our roadmap, the 5-year roadmap in April 22 is when we set our plan. We had built out a plan to say that we'll build 5,400 megawatts of peak of renewable energy assets, both solar, wind, hybrids, around the clock, firm dispatchable energy, storage, all put together. As we stand today, we are at about 3,600 megawatt peak of projects pipeline that we have won. We are starting to commission our projects. This year itself, we'll do close to about 700 megawatts of projects that will get commissioned. About 140 odd megawatt peak of projects have already got commissioned. So now when we look at the potential, and I think that's the bite size we are taking, we are saying that we are already ahead of the curve in terms of our business plan that we have built. We see huge potential. There is confidence and belief that the shareholders have in our ability to deliver. So obviously, I think this plan will get extended and we will continue to kind of grow at an equal pace or even a faster rate. While we are doing this, I think what's important is business is all about outcomes. It's all about numbers and profitability, which is great. However, I think at Sustain, we have another important way of looking at things, and which is saying that we do business with purpose. And that also comes very naturally to us because we are part of the M&M, the Mahindra ecosystem. And hence, we strongly work with our purpose, which is reimagining clean energy, empowering lives. While reimagining clean energy is all about business processes, technologies, optimal engineering, competitive, kind of tariffs. It's all about the technical and the commercial aspects of it. For us, I think the other meaningful thing is empowering lives. Empowering lives is not just about creating clean energy for the world and for India. It's also about touching the lives of people directly and indirectly. This could be communities that are around our project sites. So whether it is education, whether it is primary healthcare, whether it's water, we kind of try to see how best we can make their lives better. Okay. Second, I think we are also doing work in terms of outside the communities, which is not the direct communities, but there's work that we do beyond just, and that's part of what we do along with the Mahindra Group.
Right.
So in a way, we are kind of making the world a better place in its true sense. Last but not the least, when in Sustain, we say that we don't want to be the largest clean energy generator. We want to be the cleanest clean energy generator.
Right.
So which means that For instance, when you talk about water positivity, our portfolio, the past portfolio that we built of 1,500 megawatt peak, which we flipped to the InvIT, we ensured that it was water positive, third party certified water positive, 15x. That means we were giving back to Mother Earth 15 times of what we were consuming. We are next to nil on zero waste to landfill. Other elements of our entire value chain, including our supply chain. We actually have a very, very robust ESG platform that we are implementing with all our suppliers. In fact, it's become a template where I think which has been taken by the group, and we are trying to apply it across other group companies. So clearly, if you look at it, we are doing whatever we can do to make sure that we not only generate clean energy, but we leave the world more positive and clean. And a stamp of recognition for that was we got recognized with our SBTi goals, approved SBTi goals, making us the 4th renewable energy company in the country to actually have that, which is where we put up targets for scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3 for the next 5 years. And we need to kind of monitor and report it back year on year. So I think that's, for me, the sustained journey going forward. We continue doing what we are doing in terms of building more projects and creating wealth for our shareholders and for the communities that help us to build it, with the vendor partners, with our OEM partners, touching lives of communities in the direct vicinity of our projects, and otherwise also as a larger community with the M&M ecosystem. And last but not the least, but also making the environment, looking at the environment and climate and making it more positive. So that's us in totality.
And of course, before I let you go, Mr. Thakur, it would be amiss if I didn't ask you to offer some words of wisdom to leaders, to professionals that would stand them in good stead for their own professional careers.
So I think first, I want to not talk to just leaders, but anyone who's in the work environment, is the fact that we have this whole challenging question that gets posed about work-life balance. It's maybe cliche, but I think I have never had to ask myself that question for 33 years. And that's simply because of the fact that I've loved what I've done. So when you love what you do and it becomes a part of you, I think it's absolutely, there is no difference in a way. And it shows. It shows in terms of what you are able to bring to the office on a Monday morning or on a Friday evening or any other time for that matter. However, I would say that I believe in a simple philosophy, which is ETCQ, which I've crafted myself.
Okay.
Empathy, transparency, commitment, customer centricity, and creating a happy environment, work environment. So I have actually, I believe in this, and this is what I convey to anyone, that this is the way I kind of apply to my leadership style and to my work environment. Only one thing I'll explain is the fact that customer centricity is, the rest of it is very clear, but the customer centricity piece is not just about an external customer, it's about internal. We are customers to each other. So if I say I'm going to do something, am I doing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, circles back to your whole point on credibility.
So for instance, me not being here at 9 in the morning for the interview was something which is going to trouble me, because I wouldn't like to keep someone waiting for half an hour. And in my head, I'm already thinking that why could not have planned the weather and been here in time so that you didn't have to wait for half an hour. So that's customer centricity for me. Other thing, empathy, transparency, commitment, and creating a happy environment is, I think, something which is very,
fairly
very clear. So yeah, that's my go-to when I have to kind of look at my leadership style, or I have to kind of share anything with anyone else who's seeking advice.
Perfect. Mr. Thakur, thank you so much for chatting with us today. It was fantastic having you with us.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
As India accelerates its clean energy ambitions, leaders like Deepak Thakur are showing that they can show a way forward with authenticity, with conviction, and with innovation. And it shows that a purpose-driven leadership style is a must to progress the planet and to deliver sustainability, and that the two can and often must go hand in hand. Thank you for watching this episode of C-Suite Conversations. I do hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.